Police officers who killed innocent Kenyans need to be held accountable. Bungei need to be held accountable. Koome need to be held accountable. And even the president need to hold himself, and we are going to hold him and parliamentarians accountable for the actions and the things they are doing in this country, which are causing atrocities and violating the human rights.
Welcome to Sauti TV. I am very, very well. So for those who just don't know you, kindly start by introducing yourself.
My name is Wakili Stephen Mbogwa. I'm an advocate and a council member with the Law Society of Kenya. And today we are here in the regard to, it's called Citizens Assembly. This is where we decided to meet as advocates, as members of the Law Society of Kenya, as communities of human rights groups in this country, as Kenyans youth, to discuss the way forward and the state of the nation. And we're observing what the president has done in the last few days in regard to disbursement of sending away the cabinet, the measures he's taking, on whether they are realizing the need for this country and what we are clamoring for. And I can tell you that we have listened to stories of those who have been able to be a bit more bold to be able to speak in front of people, the victims of this protest, those who were kidnapped. And it is very, very sad story when you hear how someone was abducted at the middle of the night and taken to put in some dungeons, which is a clear violation of human rights. These are things we used to witness in so many years ago during the Nyayo era. But now the president, unfortunately for him, he is doing this thing under the new dispensation of our constitution. And as the young people, and even as advocates and legal professionals and human rights community, we have come to learn, and we want to remind him that we were alive, we were aware when we were clamoring for a constitution, and we know what the constitution means to us. That's why we are telling him we need to respect the constitution. We need to do away with some funny offices like the office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary. That's a very unconstitutional office. Someone drawing salary from the government and an office is illegal. So we have been having a conversation and that on what best needs to be done for this country. And the president needs to know that what we are demanding for is accountability. We want him to acknowledge the people who are killed. We want him to acknowledge the people who are maimed. We want him to acknowledge the people who have lost their property because of this issue. And we want justice for everyone. When we see Adams Bungei still managing his office in Nairobi, when we see Koome still in his office in Nairobi, when we see these people still running their day-to-day affairs, even the officer who was captured live on camera, even shooting at the protesters and shooting at the media personnel, then we ask ourselves, is this an honest and a candid conversation that the president is calling for? Because when you have lost trust from people, for you to regain it, you must show deliberate measures that comes to accepting your mistake and providing action plan on what needs to be done and what is being done. So we can say that yes, it's the right move to do away with the cabinet, but there is more expected from him, and the clamor is not going to stop because we have noticed our parliament is filled up with people who cannot hold the government accountable, but instead they are cronies who are working on behalf of the government. What do? They want to rely on CDF to come and manage people. They don't want us to hold them accountable on the legislation they are doing. They want us to hold them accountable on the laws they have passed. That's why they could pass a finance bill and claim that I am getting money to come and do development to you. We sent you as a parliamentarian, and we sent you to do only one job. Go and oversight the government. Go and hold the government accountable. Go and legislate our laws. That is what we want them to do. The other things they are doing are shenanigans, which are just meant to divert our attention and to ensure we don't hold them accountable. So we are not going to stop this clamor. It's a clamor for change because this is a liberation that is coming up, and we are reminding young people across the country and everybody in this country that a time has come for Article 43 of this constitution to be implemented. Article 43 talks about socio-economic justice. So when President Ruto was campaigning to be voted in, he requested us, hey youth, I'm going to have jobs for you. Hey Mama Mboga, I have a job. I'm going to improve your working condition and your income. Hey Boda Boda youth, I'm going to provide mechanism for you working. What has it done? He abandoned them. He abandoned education. He abandoned roads, things that health that is supposed to be Linda Mama was done away with. We have seen so many things that hospitals don't have medicine. BCG is missing in many hospitals. Children are being exposed to tuberculosis. And these are things that are anchored in our constitution. It is everybody's right to have a better social justice, someone to have access to education, someone to have access to hospital, health care, and that is what the president has failed to do. People have been pocketing and filling their money in the pocket. We are calling upon abolition of some of these funny and constitutional offices, like the CDF. The High Court declared that CDF unconstitutional. They went ahead and enacted a new act calling it NGCDF. What is the purpose of that thing? It is meant to divert the work of the parliamentarian to become puppets of the executive, and that's why they keep on asking people, how many laws have I made? They need to be telling us how many laws, how many oversight have you carried out? When you are given an oversight against someone who is a minister who is corrupt. We saw the Minister for Agriculture, what he did with the farmers. Parliament was paid up, and we got that information. They were paid up to reinstate the Linturi. Those are things that we are calling against. Those are issues that we are calling against, and we want an accountable and a better Kenya for everyone, so that everybody has an equal chance for success in this country, because it is ours, and we gave it unto ourselves, and this, even the constitution, to govern us, and these laws we give them unto ourselves. So that is what we are calling upon.
And Wakili, let me just ask you this question. After Farah Maalim's comments, many Kenyans are feeling that it has taken too long for him to be held accountable. Maybe you can tell us why it's taking such a long time, and what is maybe the proper legal process to follow?
These people, as I mentioned, there's a way they protect each other, and we saw when they were trying to quell this quest. What do? The opposition people ran to the State House to try and see they can manage the PR to see whether they're going to calm the country. What were they doing? The political class was coming together to try and protect their selfish interests against the common mwananchi who is clamoring for change. So now, what youth and the Kenyan mwananchi need to learn is it is our time to continue uniting. It is our time to know that we cannot rest, we cannot sleep, because this is an agitation that its time has come. And people who are reckless with their statement, people who are dubbing this kind of protest and agitation as terrorists, and even saying they can kill 5,000 people, those are people who deserve to be in jail, people who deserve to be convicted to even death sentences, not young people losing their soul and being collected in the dams. So people like Farah Maalim deserve to be in prison. They need to be gotten out from those positions they are holding, and to be held accountable by being taken to police and by being taken to court and charged in accordance with the law. Police officers who killed innocent Kenyans need to be held accountable. Bungei need to be held accountable. Koome need to be held accountable. And even the president need to hold himself, and we are going to hold him and parliamentarians accountable for the actions and the things they are doing in this country, which are causing atrocities and violating the human rights and rule of law.
Thank you so much. Asante sana.